So, yeah, this is from, this your first class? MashaAllah. Yeah, all right.
This is the second class?
This is the third class. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, you cut the lights? Huh? Cut the lights? Oh.
Okay, so last week we went over Lillahi ma fis samawati wa ma fil ard, and I'm interested in your thoughts. I'm sure you've had an opportunity to reflect on that part of the verse. I shared some thoughts with you last week, and I'm interested in hearing from you. Of course, when we go over these verses, I'm looking for you to reflect on the verse or whatever part of the verse that we've covered at home. So during the week. So what was our conclusion?
It's just on the first part of that.
That's it. Lillahi ma fis samawati wa ma. That's all we covered. We didn't cover anything else. There was enough there to last us for a couple of weeks. And then some. I'm sure last week you were shocked when we only covered that. And so, yeah, but when you reflect on that, there's a lot in there. Yes?
It makes me think that everything that we think we have power over truly belongs to Allah. Like even the little things like, you know, where a leaf is going to end up. And I know that seems like kind of abstract, but it made me think, because like on a walk you pick up things and you take it to go from one place to another, and no way would you have thought that this thing would end up in this place so far away. So it just makes me think that that all the things we think we have control over, not to say that we don't play a part in our actions and don't have accountability for our actions, but that Allah is in control of everything.
Okay, so it's ironic that you mentioned the leaf, because actually that's in the Quran where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that every leaf that falls off of a tree, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is aware of that. Every seed that is that resides in the depths of the earth, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is aware of it. So absolutely, and there's a lot, as I said, there's a lot to reflect on in that small statement, Lillahi ma fis samawati wa ma fil ard. And I tried to give you a head start by directing you to the attributes. That was the purpose of me directing you to the attributes. Yes?
I just wanted to let you know how I felt about that.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
I feel that everything that's in the heavens and the earth is going to return to Allah. We don't own anything,
Mm-hmm.
and everything returns to Him.
Mm-hmm.
You know, our souls, our bodies, everything that's on the earth,
Mm-hmm.
including the earth itself,
Mm-hmm.
and everything that encompasses it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So
Indeed.
we're going to return to the ultimate owner.
Indeed.
You know, that's my reflection on it.
Indeed. Anyone else?
Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has knowledge of everything that we have knowledge of, He allows us to have knowledge of, and what we don't have knowledge of.
Uh-huh.
And everything in between, and so you know how sometimes people will say, I brought you in this world to take you out, when really they didn't bring nothing in.
Mm-hmm.
Even their thoughts of even saying that, all that belongs to Allah. What your actions, what you're going to do before you even do it, babies that hasn't been born yet, all of that, everything that exists,
Mm-hmm.
whether you have knowledge of it existing or don't,
Mm-hmm.
belongs to earth, in earth and in heaven.
Mm-hmm.
So don't think that, you know, that and everything is temporary as far as we're concerned. You know, we're not keeping that either. You know, our body, mind, soul, everything. So that's all. Allah saying true. Allah belongs. Everything is in heaven and everything is on earth. So nothing is ours.
Indeed. All right. Anyone else?
Yeah, it's not so much my question is the line between reflection and ascertaining an opinion of what you feel, and you start to go on a tangent. For my example is, you say reflect on the eyes, and the Quran says reflect on them. To me, there's a thin line between your opinion, what is actually, you're actually reflecting on what you're saying.
Exactly.
So so I'm asking you, when we're doing
So usually when we reflect, and if it's beyond the scope of what's contained in the verse, or the intended meaning of the verse, or what someone could reasonably understand from the verse, then of course we'll will you back in.
Yeah, but I'm saying most of the
So
time.
even when you're, that's why we're having this discussion.
Okay.
So you're sharing your thoughts. So if your thoughts are way out there, we'll just pull you back in.
Okay.
Inshallah. However, if you're at home and you're reading the Quran and you're reflecting on a verse, and your reflection takes you somewhere, hopefully, inshallah, you have enough in you to, that's not, my thinking isn't aligned with how I'm supposed to, or what I'm supposed to believe.
Yeah, but most of those come in, it's not so much maybe you, but most of them, when you're out and you're in a circle, or you're in somewhere, you're around other people who I hear a lot, well, my Islam or my opinion.
Exactly.
You hear a lot of that. So
Exactly.
not wanting to cause any conflict, and you try to resolve it. That's why I'm asking you, how, because that could be pretty dangerous. In a sense.
Well, generally when, and I'm going to go back to the importance of the tafsir, the mufassirin, or the mufassirun, or the interpreters of the Quran will often refer to verse 282. However, the meaning of the verse is not restricted to, is not only tied to that verse. In essence, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and we began this verse with Lillahi ma fi samawati wa ma fil ard, right? And he's framing this conversation by reminding us all that he is, going back to the attributes, he's all-knowing, all-seeing, all-hearing, etc. Everything belongs to him. So if perchance, when you're called to testify in a case, be honest. Don't lie, don't cheat, don't. Remember, he's not saying it, but remember that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is all-seeing, all-hearing, etc., etc., etc. So when you read Lillahi ma fi samawati wa ma fil ard, and then you read wa in tubdu ma fi anfusikum aw tukhfuhu, which that part of the verse has a lot of implications. We're going to talk about that in a minute. But nevertheless, when you read this, you understand the connection between this and verse 282. And as I said, that's the longest verse in the Quran. It takes up an entire page. يا أيها الذين آمنوا إذا تداينتم بدين إلى أجل مسمى فاكتبوه. That's ayatul dayn. Now, so when we hear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala saying, وَإِن تُبْدُوا مَا فِي أَنفُسِكُمْ أَوْ تُخْفُوهُ يُحَاسِبْكُمْ بِهِ اللَّهُ, it sounds as if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying to you that you are accountable for what you think, whether you act on it or not. That's what you're reading, correct? وَإِن تُبْدُوا مَا فِي أَنفُسِكُمْ أَوْ تُخْفُوهُ. If you disclose it or you conceal it, you're still held accountable for it. So if you were to sit, read this, and ponder on it, of course, this part of the verse will cause you a lot of distress. We have all kinds of stuff going on in our heads. We have moments where our minds just go. Reading this, I'm accountable for all of that. So if I'm thinking something crazy, if I'm thinking something that's inconsistent, If I have a lapse in judgment, I haven't acted on it, I just thought it. For a moment, I thought that was a good idea. Then I gathered myself. When you read this, that's what it's about. So when you read the tafsir, you'll find a lot of accounts where the companions, when they heard this, the Prophet ﷺ, when this was revealed, and the Prophet ﷺ shared this with them, caused them a lot of distress. You had companions that were crying. It's like, I can't sleep. I mean, you can't win. Right? So, when you look at this verse, 284, then when you look at 285 and 286, 285 and 286 explain 284. So although that's there, you're not responsible for what you think. You're responsible for what you say and what you do. This is how you reconcile 284, 285, and 286. Initially, they were responsible for thoughts. And it said that 85 and 86, 285 and 286 abrogated 284, or that part of verse 284, as it relates to a person's thoughts. We refer to that as nasakh. All scholars don't believe in nasakh. So there's no what we call ijma' or consensus on abrogation. So you have a lot of ikhtilaf, you have a lot of disagreement with regards to whether or not abrogation actually exists. Yes.
So for the people who don't believe in it, how do they reconcile the differences? Or like, what's their argument for like reconciling the differences?
Well, those who do not believe in abrogation don't interpret وَإِن تُبْدُوا مَا فِي أَنفُسِكُمْ أَوْ تُخْفُوهُ, this part of the verse, they do not interpret that as being literal. So, without going too deep, they don't interpret that as being literal. So, So when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says whether or not you disclose what is in your minds or you conceal it, in essence, is a call to a person being honest, and not necessarily that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will literally hold you to account for that. Otherwise, it would be a conflict between this and what followed. So in essence, be honest, be an honest person, as opposed to, if you think something, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to punish you. Okay. So that is, we're going to stop here with regards to this verse. So that portion of the verse, وَإِن تُبْدُوا مَا فِي أَنفُسِكُمْ أَوْ تُخْفُوهُ يُحَاسِبْكُم بِهِ اللَّهُ. Inshallah, this coming week, you'll take some time and you'll reflect on it. Yes?
I have a question about that statement. It says whether you disclose what's in your minds or conceal it. Is that, if you have something in your mind but you don't have any action upon it, will you be held accountable for just the thought without action? Or is it this entailing the thought with action?
That is entailing the thought with action. You're held accountable for your actions, so what you do and what you say. So if you had a thought, you verbalize it, whatever comes out of your mouth, you're held accountable for it. Absolutely. You had a thought, you acted on it, you're responsible for whatever it is that you do.
But if you don't act on it,
If you don't act on it, no. Yes.
Does Shaitan know our, I don't want to say, does he know our thoughts, or like, how does he, because I know it seems that Allah, I mean, does Shaitan whispers, like, in the hearts of man, but like, how would he know what to whisper to you about if he doesn't know your,
If he doesn't know you,
your issues, like.
okay. Well, the Prophet ﷺ says that shaitan runs in your bloodstream. That's how intimate of a relationship shaitan has with you. So for you, that voice that you hear whispering to you, whispering that nice, not so nice stuff, those not so nice ideas, that's shaitan. Understanding that, being aware of it is one thing. Understanding that and understanding how shaitan works, that's something totally different. Man is always going to be vulnerable to the influences of shaitan. That's already established. There's absolutely nothing you can. Let me rephrase that. There is a lot that you can do about that. The closer you are to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the least influence shaitan has over you. But even within that, there's an area for shaitan to get in.
Well, is there something?
So you're being monitored. Yeah, I mean, we all have, because this sounds, a lot of it sounds abstract. When you read Surah Qaf, Surah Qaf is Surah number
18.
What was that?
18.
No, that's
Surah Qaf, not Kaf.
Oh, sorry.
Surah Qaf is Surah number 50.
Yeah.
Right? In Surah Qaf, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala discusses your constant companion, your qareen. And we all know that shaitan has minions. We didn't know that?
Yeah.
Yeah, shaitan has minions.
I said nothing. I was waiting.
Shaitan has minions. So we all have these constant companions. Okay? And they're with you.
Now, so where is choice and conscious decision making coming?
That's present. You never lose that, unless of course you lose control of your faculties. That's always with you. So you're going to make your choices. Your choices will be influenced by that which is in you that you allow to roam freely. So if you don't keep your nafs, you don't keep you in check, you'll be more inclined to follow that negative voice. So that qareen, or those constant companions, and of course, we all have two. One encouraging good, the other encouraging that other side. So we are encouraged to listen to the good. And the other one is the one that will take you down if you're not aware. Yes.
Okay, it's understood Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam was protected from that. But I'd like to bring up, Umar. Because he was, I guess a regular human, but he wasn't like him. What did he, after he embraced Islam, what did he do different than maybe the other companions? And tell me if this is true or not. What they say Shaitan would go across the street when he saw him, so to speak. Mm-hmm. Well, what did he do different compared to everybody else and, to make Shaitan like, I don't even mess with him, Was it demeanor, or was this his love, or was his iman? Was that?
It was his iman. It wasn't necessarily.
What did he do to get to that level, or was it revealed?
Oh, that's a personal struggle.
Oh.
That's a personal struggle, and a person holding himself to account on a regular basis. and a level of sincerity. Yeah, I mean, it's not easy to get to that point, but absolutely. And Umar ibn Khattab did not get to that point overnight. It's not like he took his shahada and, woke up the next morning and Shaitan was running away from him.
I know that.
I'm just saying. But I mean, for all of us, I mean, that's our daily struggle. Our daily struggle is to keep ourselves in check and make sure that we're doing what we're supposed to do and living our lives in a way that's pleasing to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So even with us having these constant companions that are whispering things to us, a lot of them negative, because again, Shaitan he has a goal and objective. He has a promise that he made to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And we all know what that promise is, and if we're unaware of what Shaitan's promise to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is, and his goal is for all of humanity to join him in the hellfire. So we're constantly and consistently listening to the negative companion, and he's suggesting things. We still have the opportunity to say, I'm not going to listen to that. I'm going to do what I know is right, or more righteous, or more righteous-like, as opposed to following that voice. You hearing that maybe I should do A, B, C, and D. Well, no, I shouldn't do that because I can't do that. You reminding yourself when you're relating with, when we talk about, I guess we could. I don't know. Because this is going to become a lengthy conversation. Yeah. So talk going in that direction. We'll be here. we can talk about this forever. About your own personal morality and what you stand on, your foundation, what you stand on, what you believe in, what you hold on to, what makes you who you are, and the influences in your life that either support or erode your moral foundation. I mean, we talk about that forever. So when we think about Shaitan whispering to you, that has an impact on us as well. I mean, you're constantly listening to that voice. The further away you get from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the more inclined you will be to listening to or following that negative voice. That's encouraging you to think like that, act like that, speak like that. The more you do that, the easier it is for you to, you do it once, you do it twice, 5, 10 times, you reach a point where it's natural and normal. And once you reach a point where it's natural and normal, then, it's not good at all. The road to recovery is always there, but it's more difficult the further away you are from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So, yeah. Yes?
Well, there is that verse that says, they do see you from where you don't see them, so.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So, we're talking about the unseen. I mean, we're talking about, so you have these constant, okay, what does that mean? I don't see anything, you're not going to see it. But believe me, you hear it. You hear it. You may not, but you hear it. You're in a situation. Should I do A or should I do B? You're in control of that, even though it's being suggested to you.
Well,
I'm suggesting it to myself. Yeah, but you have a little aid and assistance there.
They even put a show out recently.
Well, yeah. Yeah, it's Hollywood, man.
The tagline was
it's Hollywood. What do you want? It's Hollywood.
I'm saying, the tagline, we were talking about suggestions.
Yeah.
The tagline was like, he gives bad a good name. So
Oh, there you go. Yes.
Just reflecting on something that you're saying, and when Shaitan made the promise to Allah, and I think we remember that he made that promise, but I think the part that sometimes we don't remember is that Allah gave him that unfettered access. Like he granted it to him, and then he said, except for those who you will be able to do this, except for those who do X, Y, and Z. You know? So
Absolutely.
it's not just that he asked for it, it's that he was given. He was granted his request, you know, and the caveat on it wasn't that, okay, I'm giving you this request, but you won't be able to. The caveat wasn't on Shaitan, but the caveat was on us, right? Those who actually, exactly what you're saying, right? Those who stay closer. So it's like he asked for something, he was given it, and then we are the ones who have been given the task of fighting against the promise that he's been given, more or less.
Indeed.
You know, so it's
Indeed. 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 Indeed.
About the hadith in which they say that if you intend a bad deed and you go through with it, then it's counted as one bad deed. But if you intend a bad deed and you don't do it, then it's counted as it's not counted against you, or it's counted as a good thing. Is that in connection to this part of the verse as well?
So if you do it, if you don't do, if you intend to do something and you don't do it, then of course you're not held liable. And you avoiding, there's reward in you avoiding sin as well. Absolutely. So yes, there's a connection between that hadith and this verse. Anyone else? Yes.
I'm looking at the word, I don't know if this, I know there's a little grammar and this and that, but my question is, anfusikum. What is the root word to that? What is the root word? And does the aleph intend present tense? Like now? Okay.
No. So the root word is nafs.
Nafs.
Yes.
Okay.
Which nafs, loosely translated, is your soul.
So what does
So anfusikum means yourselves.
Okay.
Yeah. And yes. Anfusikum means yourselves or your souls together. All right? Yes.
Sorry. This conversation just has me thinking about, like, even when we plan to do, like, bad things, like Allah's mercy is still with us, because we sometimes put obstacles in our way that it's hard as we try to fulfill that bad thing that we're trying to do. Like, things happen that prevent it from happening. Like, and it can be as simple as you missed the train that you were going to take to go do X, Y, Z, or it just made me think of that Allah's mercy, even when we, are planning things, is always with us. So, I mean, sometimes He allows us to continue in what we plan to do, and then sometimes He, protects us from ourselves with respect to that.
Indeed. And, often that protection is granted to those who are closest to Him. And, the opposite is true. I mean, He'll extend you the opportunity to continue in your disobedience. So the same way, a person who had intended to do something, and generally that person has a somewhat healthy relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he'll and again, fate is part of that as well. We refer to it as qadar. Not meant for you to do that, and those with a certain level of consciousness reflect on that. Those who don't have that consciousness, it's like, oh, I missed my train. A person with consciousness, you have that your consciousness again, that depends on your relationship with Allah, the nature of your relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So a person with consciousness would say, yep, alhamdulillah, Allah saved me from that. A person without consciousness will say, I missed my train, I'll catch the next one. And they'll continue in their pursuit of whatever it is that they're pursuing that's not good for them. Or they'll plan to, again, pursue whatever it is that they were pursuing. Person with consciousness is like, alhamdulillah, that's a sign for me. It's a sign. I had no business doing that anyway, so I'm gonna go, I'm gonna make Tawbah, ask Allah to forgive me and get myself together. As opposed to, oh well, there'll be another time, so I'll just reschedule, you know,
Keep that up.
and do what I gotta do. And that happens, it happens all the time. And again, it's the state of a person's iman or lack thereof.
I want to share something real quick. Like, you don't have to humor. I mean, I've been doing this all the time, but when you start doing it, the couples at the end will you'll say that, you know, do a good deed, blah, blah, blah. So a lot of times you talk to somebody and I say, you know, I don't mind doing something for somebody, you know, if they need me or whatever, and I found out they're going to ask me, they didn't, it'll bother me because